Good day. I am Deborah V. Cervantes from BSHM TV, and for today's video, I am going to discuss this following: table decor presentation, table service rules, and event stuff. So, without further ado, let's start this video and keep on watching, guys.
Just like me, it's a good thing.
So when we are setting up the event, there's three important things that we should follow to make our event successful. First thing that we should follow is the table decor presentation. The first thing that we should do is creating food stations.
Food stations still enable you to feed large number lay on range of different dishes, so there's something for everyone and keep everything relaxed and informed enough so as not to kill the party mood. You get to wow guests with the elegant and creative presentation that comes with plated dishes, and the food station becomes the focal point in the room to center all the party decorations around. With traditional buffet tables, people tend to go a bit crazy and pile on the food, working their way along the entire table and taking far more than they'll actually eat. So you always need to prepare such huge amounts, so much of which gets wasted.
So, there are three types or three considering important things in creating food stations. First is buffet table or food station backdrops.
First off, you'll want to create a backdrop for your buffet table or food station. This will help make it the focal point of your party decorations. This should be in perfect harmony with menu ideas, food presentation, and styling.
Second is the 80 or 20 rule.
When creating a food station at home, instead of a traditional buffet table, I would suggest going for approx 80% cold food and 20% hot to make it easier on yourself. And lastly is the food presentation. For the 80% cold food, it's easy to make even simple party food such as chicken, skewers, pasta, or salads. Look amazing by serving items in individual portions. You can still batch make everything in advance. Then just before guests arrive, spend a little time dividing everything into small plates, bowls, and shooters.
When it comes to displaying the food, the reason most buffet tables or food stations at professionally catered events look so stylish is because they abide by a few simple rules: groups, rows, and levels. Groups. It is only one type of food or per serving plate. It is simple rule, but it solely gave the buffet table or food stations a clean, defined, and well-ordered look. Rows. On each serving plate, food is presented in individual containers or individual utensils and arranged in rows. Levels. Make use of different levels. Buffet table or food station look terrible if everything lies on flat off the table. The second important thing that we should follow is the table service rule. Buffet service guidelines, general sanitation, and safety requirements. Guideline number 1. General operation and safety requirements of these guidelines is applied to all buffet service.
We have a service lines. Equipment. All equipment and utensils used in a service line must be made of approved materials, be maintained in good repair, and in a clean manner free from contamination.
All surfaces of service must be kept clean and free from debris.
Food display and self-service area. All food displayed for customer self-service must be displayed within easy reach of the average customer. The maximum distance between the edge of a service line, excluding any rail, and the front of the rearmost display item cannot exceed 22 inches. However, chafing dishes or chaffers, oval trays, pans, and similar containers may extend beyond this limit so long as the displayed food begins within the 22-inch limit. Number 2. Two-sided service lines are permissible so long as a space or central barrier is provided to prevent customers from serving themselves from the other side. Number 3. All sneeze guards or droplet protection devices used in service lines must conform to Guideline 2, which covers sneeze guards. Also, the protective surface of the sneeze guard must be positioned high enough above the displayed food so that it does not interfere with the customer's access to the rearmost displayed food item or use of serving utensils. Sneeze guards that comply with Guideline 2 generally meet this criterion.
All hazardous food shall be held at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit or shall be kept at or above 135 degrees Fahrenheit at all times. So as you can see, there's a table of food and its temperature that you should know.
So first is pre-cooked, ready-to-eat food taken from a commercially processed, hermetically sealed container or an intact package from a food processing plant that is USDA inspected, not hot dogs, brats, or etc. And its temperature is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Second is poultry or including ground poultry. Its temperature is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is stuffed fish, stuffed meat, stuffed poultry, including any food stuffed with fish, meat, or poultry, and its temperature is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is reheated cooked foods that have been prepared on site, like foods cooked cold and reheated for immediate serving or hot holding, and its temperature is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is ground meat, including beef, veal, lamb, pork, and other edible animals, and its temperature is 157 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is pork, and its temperature is 155 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is eggs, including foods containing raw eggs, and its temperature is 145 degrees Fahrenheit. And lastly, the foods cooked in a microwave oven. Higher. After microwaving, the food must stand for at least 2 minutes before serving to allow for even heating. And its temperature is 25 degrees Fahrenheit, higher than the temperatures above. Next is the availability of foodstuff hand washing facilities. All food establishments to provide buffet line workers with hand washing facilities. No additional or special employee hand washing facilities need to be provided. Specifically, food service line workers and regularly occurring or temporary buffets, so long as the facilities required are adequate and reasonably accessible to service line workers. However, hand washing facilities must be provided at permanent buffets in which food is prepared and served by food staff. Next is General Droplet Protection Requirement. The Minnesota Food Code 4626.0320 requires all food on display to be protected from contamination by use of packaging, counter, service line or salad bar food guards, display cases, or other effective means. Under these guidelines, display food must either be placed behind a sneeze guard or similar droplet protection device, or placed in a covered or otherwise protected container that meets the standards of Guideline 3, self-service stations, or Guideline 4, attended stations.
Guideline number 2. Droplet protection, self-service areas.
Unpackaged food displayed in service lines for customer self-service shall be shielded so as to intercept a direct line between the customer's mouth and the food being displayed, or shall be in a container which has a tight-fitting, securely attached lid, or may be dispenses from approved mechanical dispensers. This means that displayed food must be protected by sneeze guard, which meets the requirement of Guideline 2, or as an acceptable alternative placed in a service container which has a tight-fitting, securely attached lid. Acceptable containers include self-closing containers such as roll-top, chafing dishes, or choppers, whose lids are set not to open to more than 90 degrees from their closed position, and other containers which may meet the approval of the UHS Public Health Program.
Guideline number 3. Rapid protection, attended stations. Unpackaged food may be displayed in different containers if the following conditions are satisfied.
Number 1 is the food is served by an employee of the establishment directly to a consumer. Number 2, the food is displayed in clean, sanitary, and covered or otherwise protected containers. This standard may be met by either number 1, placement of a sneeze guard, which meets the standards of guideline number 2 between the food and the customer, or number 2, the attending employee serving the food from a covered container so long as the cover is replaced after each serving, or number 3, other protection which provides an equivalent barrier which intercepts a direct line between the mouth of the average consumer and the food. Containers such as roll top or half dome chafing dishes meet this requirement provided when the container is open, only the attending employee directly faces the food.
Guideline number 4. Utensils and self-service. Dispensing food items, dispensing utensils.
Number 1, food displayed in self-service containers be provided with the utensils which has a handle sufficient to dispense the food item. Number 2, each service container must be provided with at least one appropriately sized serving utensils for use exclusively with that container. The utensil must be of sufficient size and designed to prevent it falling into or out of the container when not in use. The self-service utensils must be changed, clean, and sanitized as regularly as required by the Minnesota Food Code 4626.0845 and 4626.0900. Next is the dinnerware and plateware. Number 1, all reasonable steps should be taken to keep patrons from reusing their dinnerware, like plates, saucers, etc. When returning to the service line, sufficient clean dinnerware should be provided so that customers are not encouraged to reuse their dinnerware when returning to the service line. Signs should be posted directing patrons to obtain a clean plate when returning to the service line. Suitable facilities should also be available near the service line in which to deposit used dinnerware. Number 2, the managers, vendors, operators of a food buffet venue should also take special care to provide sufficient utensils, dinnerware, and service line supervision to reasonably discourage customers from number 1, reusing dinnerware, number 2, using their hands or their table flatware to dispense food, or number 3, otherwise unnecessarily handling and touching displayed food items.
And lastly, the third important things that we should follow is the event staff. No matter how amazing your event is or how great your entertainment, food and beverages is usually the lantern of any big event. So here are the 10 keys to manage catering staff in large number events. Number 1, prioritize training.
Catering staff can have little to no experience, and even the ones who have a decent amount of experience will still need training. Not to mention that one of the biggest attributes of success for companies is their ability to adopt and incorporate new technology in the workplace, and some of these technologies can require one-on-one or group training. On top of new technology training, it's always have a good idea to have your staff brush up on the basics. When you provide proper training throughout the term of employment, you provide a proper foundation and give your staff room to grow.
Number 2, get to know yourself.
When you get to know your staff, you come across as a more approachable manager. It also helps you determine each staff member's strengths and weaknesses, so you can put them in the job role that sets both of you them up for success. One good idea might be to have a team building event outside of the everyday workplace. An outside event may seem a bit overwhelming for you and your staff. However, if you make it fun and maybe just once a month, it could offer a huge return on investment in their bonding, team loyalty, and overall confidence on the job.
Number 3, prepare your rush strategy.
Anyone who's worked in the hospitality industry knows all about those moments when a rush of people wants their food or crowd around the bar for their first drinks or refills. Rushes can happen anytime, from when everyone arrives to when the DJs and speakers take a break. In your rush strategy, you should plan to have extra stuff on hand, then cut them as your event dwindles down. That way you don't stretch your costs and you don't have stuff sitting around during non-peak hours. After all, big events can last hours if not days.
Number 4. Improve your customer service experience.
Customer service is a huge part of managing your staff at any event. It's what enhances the quality of the overall product that the customer receives. In fact, the Huffington Post tells us that 86% of consumers are willing to pay more for an upgraded experience. That's a huge number and an even bigger opportunity for caterers and event planners to increase their revenue. There's not one single factor that makes customer service perfect. As a broad definition, it's a combination of active listening and effective staff processes. A few ways to constantly improve your customer service are to obtain feedback from guests, take advantage of opportunities to learn, anticipate guest needs, and have great attention to detail. Remember, great customer experience is not born overnight, so continue to implement effective practices in all areas of your business.
Number 5. Modal behavior in your leadership.
As the catering manager or the event planner, you're in charge and the people reporting to you follow what you do. You should model the behavior you want to see from your staff. That means showing up on time and being the last person to leave. Everyone is human, so it's easy to walk in before an event in a bad mood. However, you'll want to remember that moods rub off on other people. When your staff's energy goes down, it can result in the customer's mood going down. Stay positive, put your best foot forward, and your business and staff will follow.
Number 6. Give rewards early and often.
It's simple when you reward your employees. They reward you back. Turn the big event into a competition and reward specific employees who serve the most people or receive excellent feedback from event guests. Having rewards or incentives can be a great way to motivate your team so they put forth 100% of their effort during that event.
Number 7. Have a comprehensive backup plan.
Always plan for the worst and expect the best when it comes to catering an event. From broken glasses to bad weather, anything can happen. Usually, you'll have a good amount of time to plan beforehand. Ensure you have extra servings of food, extra cutlery, alternative staff and serving plan for bad weather, a pre-diagrammed event layout, and a set menu that fits the palate of your guests. Big events can be overwhelming, but if you don't plan ahead, you allow mistakes to happen.
Number 8. Use top-notch scheduling tools.
A big event usually requires a large catering staff, and a big event can take place during a long duration of time. With multiple venues, that can be a lot to manage if you're still using a pen and paper or basic Excel spreadsheets to schedule your staff. Remember, things happen. Employees get sick, have emergencies, or encounter unexpected traffic on the day they're scheduled to work. How are you using a simple technology to prepare for these incidents? With today's technology, employee scheduling software automates every manual scheduling process and eliminates any mistake from human error. It ensures you have the right number of staff, keeps up to date, and it's easily accessible at all times. If you find the right software, it will save you thousands and minimize a lot of stress in your future.
Number 9. Communicate effectively.
When there's a large volume of staff at a big event, communication can be the key to keeping your business running smoothly. You don't just want to emphasize strong communication between you and your staff, but also strong communication between employee and team members. It's very easy for things to get out of hand and for your staff to start running around like proverbial chickens with their heads cut off. When employees effectively communicate, They get all of the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively perform their job duties. Successful communication skills can be adopted for any type of industry, from the emails you send one another before the event to coordinating on the big day. The trick is following through with all the best practices.
And lastly, create a positive work environment.
Hostile work environments never work out well. Just because you are the manager doesn't mean your catering staff management skills are 100% perfect. Work consistently on the management style by reading often, creating an open feedback loop with your teams, and conducting helpful reviews to support your team members and help them grow. Planning an event and running a catering business are serious undertaking, but you can still have fun. It's okay to joke with your staff and customers so they find it easier to open up to you. A successful work environment entails a healthy balance of fun and work.
So, there you have it guys. I hope that you enjoy and you have learned a lot from this video. So, thank you for watching guys. See you on my next video.